Alright, well we're here at the Natick Mall, which I like to call the Naked Mall, for really no reason than my own amusement. Of course, Yorick's naked. We're doing Act 5, Scene 1 of Love's Labour's Lost here, a play that we started filming and almost finished filming on ski lifts and skiing in Switzerland. But we're back here, obviously, Natick, Massachusetts, and have a little bit more filming to do. We have a lot of people around today, so I'm going to get these cards ready in case anyone gives us funny looks. We'll see if we can give them some. But anyway, here we are. Act 5, Scene 1, Love's Labour's Lost. Enter Holofernes, or Holofernes, depending on how you say it, the pedant, Nathaniel the curate, and Dull the constable. Satis quod sufficit. I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's, who is entitled, nominated, or called Don Adriano de Armani. Novi hominum tanquam te. His humour is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behaviour vain, ridiculous, and thrasonical. He is too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too pruriginate, as I may call it. A most singular and choice epithet. Draws on his table. He draweth out the thread of his verbosity finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fanatical phantasmes, such insociable and point-device companions, such rackers of orthography as to speak doubt sine be, when he should say doubt, det, when he should pronounce debt, D-E-B-T, not D-E-T. He cleppeth a calf cough, half, hoff, neighbor, vocateur, neighbor, nay, abbreviated N-E. This is abominable, which he would call abominable. It insinuateth me of insini, ne intelligis domine, to make frantic lunatic. Laus Deo bone intelligio. Bone, bone for bene. Prishin a little scratched, 'twill serve. Enter Armado the braggart, Martha's boy in costume. Vides guit venit, video et gaudeo. Chida! Quade chida, not sida. Men of peace, well encountered. Most military, sir, salutation. They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps. Oh, they have lived long on the alms basket of words. I marvel thy master hath not eaten thee for a word, for thou art not so long by the head as honorificabilitudinibilitabulus. Thou art easier swallowed than a flapdragon. Peace! The peal begins. Monsieur, are you not lettered? Yes, yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is a B spelt backwards with a horn on his head? Ba. Paritia, with a horn added. Ba! Most silly sheep with a horn. Ha. You hear his learning. Quis, quis, thou consonant. The last of the 5 vowels if you repeat them, or the 5th if I. I will repeat them. A, E, I. The sheep. The other 2 concludes it. O, U. Now by the salt wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venue of wit. Snip snap, quick and home, rejoiceth my intellect. True wit. Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit-old. What is the figure? What is the figure? Horns. Thou disputes like an infant. Go whip thy gig. Lend me your horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy, Manuchita. Gig of the cuckold's horn. And I have but 1 penny in the world. Thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread. Hold, there is the very remuneration I had of thy master. Thou halfpenny purse of wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, and the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard, what a joyful father wouldst thou make. Go to, thou hast it ad dunghill, at thy fingers' ends, as they say. Oh, I smell false Latin. Dunghill for ungem. Arts, man, preambulate. We will be singled from the barbers. Do you not educate youth at the charge house on the top of the mountain? Or Mons, the hill? At your sweet pleasure, for the mountain. I do, sans question. Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day, which the rude multitude call this afternoon. posterior of the day, most generous sir, is liable, congruent, and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well culled, choice, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir, I do assure you. Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure you, very good friend. For what is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head. And among other importunate and most serious designs, and of great import indeed too, but let that pass. For I must tell thee, it will please his grace by the world, sometime to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal figure, thus dally with my excrement, with my mustachio. But, sweetheart, let that pass. He's a malapropist. I know, it's horrible. Let that pass. By the world, I recount no fable. Some certain special honors it pleases his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel, that hath seen the world, but let that pass. The very all of all is this, but sweetheart, I do implore secrecy. That the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation, or show, or pageant, or antic, or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you with all, to the end to crave your assistance. Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies. Sir Nathaniel, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of this day, to be rendered by our assistants, the king's command, and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman, before the princess. I say, none so fit as to present the 9 worthies. Where will you find men worthy enough to present them? Joshua yourself, this gallant gentleman, Judas Maccabeus, this swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass Pompey the Great, the page, Hercules. Pardon, sir, error. He is not quantity enough for that worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club. Shall I have audience? He shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose. Who an excellent device! So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, well done, Hercules! Now thou crushest the snake. That is the way to make an offense gracious, though if you have the grace to do it. For the rest of the worthies, I will play 3 myself. Thrice worthy gentlemen. Shall I tell you a thing? We attend. We will have, if this fadge not, an antic. I beseech you, follow. Via, good man Doll, thou hast spoken no word all this while. Nor understood none neither, sir. And alls, we will employ thee. Or make one in a dance, also. Or I will play on the tabor to the worthies, and let them dance the hay. Most dull, honest dull, to our sport. Away.